Yes, it feels like I have passed on the healing power of medicine to healing power of art. And some of my pieces are in institutions like hospitals and colleges and corporations, like in lounges and all, where people can look at it. And I hope that it gives them some calm and peace too, or things to think about other than whatever is bothering them.
Welcome to the Persistence U podcast with Lizbeth. That's you as in university, but we're really much more of a community here. Your host is Lizbeth Meredith. She's an author, speaker, and online teacher. Each week, she'll be delivering amazing stories from survivors and thrivers, all threaded together with a dose of persistence. We're so glad you're listening.
Her sisters and brothers, it is delightful to have you with me today. Thank you. I know you could be doing a lot of other things, and here you are, and I love your company. Today, I have Dr. Vasu Tolia, who is going to talk to us about when she knew it was time to make a big change from being a medical doctor to moving to be an artist, somebody who would be self-taught and find meaning and a wonderful outlet in the work that she's doing today. So I'm excited to introduce you to her. I hope that you're having a fabulous week. And as ever, thanks for being here. Dr. Vasu Tolia, thank you so much for being on Persistence U today. And I mispronounced your first name. It sounds more like a W. So when I gave your original introduction, it should be Dr. Vasu Tolia. And thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me, Elizabeth, on your podcast. I'm so delighted to share my journey with you.
I'm excited to hear it.
Yeah, it's like having been in two worlds that are totally diverse, but we'll talk more about it when you come to it.
Great. I love that. Tell us about your first world. Like, you live in Michigan and you've been a doctor. Tell us about that journey and how you came to realize that that just wasn't quite your whole identity. You wanted something different.
Well, I came here from India for further studies after having done my medical degree in Calcutta. And after coming here, I did residency in pediatrics and fellowship in pediatric gastroenterology at Children's Hospital of Michigan. Then I just stayed here. No, we were trying to develop roots in a new country, being new immigrants. And we just stayed here, and I became an attending and joined the university. So my job was to not only just see patients, but to teach students, residents. And then when I became the chief, I started the fellowship program that is to train doctors to become pediatric gastroenterologists. So I started to have a strong research program doing clinical research most of the times. And I did that for about 40 plus years. And there was a change in the administration, and they wanted me to do more basic research, which was not my forte. So
Okay.
I decided that I wanted to think about doing something else while slowing down. So I thought about various different artsy projects only. Like, I thought about music, singing, um, but none of them really took hold. You know,
Okay.
there was not proper teacher was available all the time and things like that. I even bought a harmonium from India, to play it, but it's still sitting here. But then my husband suggested I should think about art because I always liked art in the sense I decorated my whole house and things like that, but have not really done much with my hands and paintbrushes or pencils or anything except for drawing during like medicine. We had to draw some of these, cockroaches, guinea pigs, and things like that.
Yeah.
So I started to take lessons, and it was extremely frustrating initially because it's like trying to learn a whole different vocation altogether. I mean, medicine is very precise, besides requiring empathy and things like that, but there are standard protocols and ways of doing things to discover what's going on. And art is such freedom, like it's exaltation. You do what you feel like, whether you want to do representational or you want to do abstract or in between, anywhere in between. So the first 4 to 5 years were like growing pains that you
Okay. Did
get
you quit your job?
anytime.
Did you step down while you were learning this, or did you keep working and this
I
was on the side?
There was a phase of transition when I was working a little part time as I was picking this up, but I
Okay.
saw that it wasn't. I couldn't focus on art as much while I was actively pursuing medicine.
Sure.
So then I decided to stop it completely for a while and learn and to really do something that I liked. It took me about 5, 6 years.
That's a long time and so exciting because you probably were working long hours as a doctor and an educator,
Yes,
and so many rules, so many policies. Every time a hospital might change or get bought or something, it all changes again. So everything's defined for you. And now
yes,
freedom.
yes. And you seem to know all those ropes very well. You summarized them about the precisions and change policies quite well.
It's hard, I'm sure, to just
Yeah,
keep up with that. And after 40 years, to want to keep up with that.
yes.
And then when you're teaching other, up and coming doctors to maintain that enthusiasm that you want them to have.
It
So,
is, but it was very gratifying also, to be honest with you, because most of my trainees have ended up becoming division chiefs at different places and all that. And I pat my back sometimes for their success because I held their hands and took them through the rigors of presenting a paper, being present at a national meeting, and publishing it. So,
wow, that is so exciting. And you mentioned something that I don't think women talk about enough. Once in a while, you have to congratulate yourself because you
yeah,
did a good job. And I think we often wait for other people to notice that we did a good job and feel like, oh, I shouldn't mention that. I shouldn't brag. But no, it's good to say, hey,
yeah,
some things went really right.
yeah.
You're proud of
Uh,
that.
Unless you tell it, nobody's going to go and look it up. And it's not like that I'm trying to get attention on myself, but it's been one of the fulfilling parts of my journey, which is what I'm sharing with you today. So I think
I love
I
that.
wanted to say that, that
I
their
love that.
success is my success, right?
Right. And it's a big part. Our jobs, our vocations can be a big part of our identity. And a lot of
Yes.
people struggle after they leave something, especially something so, it's not just prestigious, but important as the role of a doctor. And so that transition, smart that you decided to go part-time first, and then you were ready to be finished. And
Yes.
today you still consult, is that correct?
Yes.
With doctors?
Yeah, with doctors and industry and things like that. Because of my research background, I get called upon to give some opinions and things like that. So that keeps me kind of on my toes with that aspect too, and I enjoy that.
I love that. And so when you started doing art, are you selling your art now? What are you doing with your art?
Yes, I have decided to make my passion for art into a purpose for life because through my art, I have collaborated with several charities and I give portions of my sales to them, because empowering women, helping children with autism, medical research, and um, mental health illness have been some of my missions. And I'm also very interested in protecting the planet, but I'm still looking for a charity who might want to hook up with me to help them too. While I sell my art because I make art that's more healing, Like I respond to calls because I feel it makes me think outside the box
Hmm.
besides what I do myself. So that's where when there was a call for COVID art by Washington Post, I submitted a piece and that was listed amongst top 20 in the nation by Washington Post. And a year later, CDC asked me if they could use that painting for the cover of their journal of emerging infectious diseases.
That had to be so exciting. How did you feel?
I felt my medicine and art came together
Oh,
and it was really exciting and fulfilling that I felt like I was doing something worthwhile with art also, like I
I
did with
like
medicine.
that. That's fantastic. Congratulations. That's a huge accomplishment.
Thank you.
How does your day to day life feel in comparison to when you were so busy as a doctor?
Yeah, I feel when you are in a relaxed or more relaxed state of mind than the rigorous time schedule, time management does become an issue because you think you have all the time in the world and then you don't know how the time passes. But I do practice a schedule. Like around noon or 12:30, I'm ready to paint after having finished my other chores and exercise and things out of the way. And then I will paint for 3 to 5, 6 hours, depending on what else I have to do during the day. But I do try to do it as many days a week as I can.
I love that. So it's still your passion, but you really are treating it seriously.
Yes, absolutely. It's
Okay.
like my second career.
That is so exciting. How did you give yourself permission to have a second career? Because I think sometimes as women, we don't do that. And I think men as well. I think there are a lot of men who feel like we have to stay at a job until we're nearly done with our life and then say goodbye to that job and hope we have enough money for the last few years.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
how did you give yourself permission? I'm sure your husband had to be supportive of that as
Oh,
well.
he and my children are extremely supportive, although they are out of the nest, but they keep involved with me. And he's, of course, with me every step of the way. And he helps me with some of the things like wiring the painting and things like that. But there was no way I was just going to be a person who curled up in bed and just watched TV or did nothing. I was part of several book clubs even while I was working, including an investment club and all. So I knew that I had to do something worthwhile. I just couldn't be not be doing anything or be idle. So this has been a really great venue and way for me to deal with this transition in my careers also because as I have gone along, I have discovered the therapeutic powers of art as to how focusing on it, getting into a zone where I forget about time and uh, place and everything, it just feels very calming.
Sounds like a
And
miniature vacation for your soul.
yes, yes, you said it right for the soul. Yes.
I love that.
And to do it repeatedly several days a week has really strengthened my resilience and my faith in myself more. And it just pushes me to continue to be creative. When I'm traveling, I'm not a outdoor painter, so I don't carry anything even small scale with me. But during those times, I write because I have always written while as a doctor also because of the publications and research and all. But now I write poetry. When I'm traveling, I will talk about my travel experiences. You get affected by politics and everything else, but I enjoy writing too.
Good. That sounds like you have a wonderful outlet, but it's more than that. It is your contribution that you're still making to the world in just a
Yeah.
different way.
Yes.
And so lovely that it can still intersect with the medical training and passion that you have.
Yes, it feels like I have passed on the healing power of medicine to healing power of art. And some of my pieces are in institutions like hospitals and colleges and corporations, like in lounges and all, where people can look at it. And I hope that it gives them some calm and peace too, or things to think about other than whatever is bothering them
And I think,
or stresses them.
yes, it helps them. And I think your story maybe helps other people realize that there might be something in them that they wish to express and give themselves permission to be involved with. And I felt like I worked for government for a long time, and it's never creative work when you work for government, and it shouldn't be. But it can starve your creativity, and that can make or burn out and very unhappy people. And so to have something else, even while you're working full time, is so beneficial.
Yes, it is. And the magnet I'm going to give your audience is related to that. And it talks about how art can calm your brain. What is the connection between neurology or neuroscience of art and the healing effects on the brain? And some small exercises, if they practice once in a while, especially when they are very stressed, will help them calm down and focus better.
I love that. So if people look at show notes, we'll have a link to your lead magnet, which will have this wonderful some exercises and thoughts for free.
Yes. Yes.
Thank you. And where can people connect with you and find your work?
They can go to my website, which is www.vasutolia.art, VASUTOLIA.art. And when they go there, they can sign up to get an email newsletters for early releases of arts and many other shows and events and competitions that I participate in. I have had a solo show every year for last 4 years and have one more coming up next year. I participate in various group shows and competitions throughout the year and talk about whatever else is happening with my life and my take on it. And it's it's not very long. It's just informative, and they can enjoy, getting some news about my art.
Oh, I think that sounds wonderful. Thank you. I really thank you for being here today and for sharing your journey. It sounds like such a positive one. And it's important for us to all realize as long as we're living, we can increase our resilience through art and through other things that bring us much
Yes.
more satisfaction.
Yes. And art, like visual art is not the only kind of art that can be healing. People can discover their calmness and solitude and peace even in like things like music, dance, whatever appeals to them, like sewing, knitting, cooking. It
Right.
can be anything, but it's just that you stay focused and find what exactly it is that you feel happiest with and work with that particular medium more.
I love it. And I think even more is to make sure that we prioritize ourselves enough
Yes.
that we carve out time to explore what it is that brings us joy. Even if
Exactly.
we're raising families and all of that, we're going to show up better for our
Yes.
family and for our work and for life if we make that a priority, prioritize ourselves in some spots.
Yes.
So thank you so much. It's been a joy to meet you.
Sure. Likewise. I enjoyed meeting you and talking to you too, Elizabeth.
We hope you've enjoyed this week's show. Thank you so much for listening. Now, to find out more, head on over to lameredith.com and be sure to hop on the mailing list too. If you've enjoyed this show, please leave a rating and review or share with a friend. And if you really, really liked it, go ahead and subscribe so that you never miss another episode. We'll be back in 2 weeks with another episode of Persistence U with Lizbeth.